Welcome back to the VHS Vault. I am VHS Jason. Of course, with me is the great Jason Roy Gaston. And tonight, folks, we're doing Predator 2 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right?
He's gotten a tan.
Yeah. That'll be different. Yeah. What happens, Jason, if you're not getting enough money for the sequel? You bail on it and you don't, which up front works better for the movie.
I have to agree. I think that not having Arnold in this movie not only makes sense from a narrative sense, because, I mean, come on, how many times is this guy going to run into predators? But it makes the world bigger. And I like that. I'm just going to spoil it right now. Folks, this is a great sequel. I know it was critically lambasted. I know that it did not make a whole lot of money, but you know what? It's a great sequel.
It's actually, over the years, it's actually earned its respect a lot more. Because I remember, I remember loving it back when I first saw it, when I was young. But yeah, I remember being critically panned. So, but either way, do you know what the original, like Joel Silver, who produced this, and when he couldn't get Arnie, one of his other ideas, when he wanted to get Arnie, he was going to pair him up with Patrick Swayze.
Which would have been awesome.
And they were going to be, which kind of would have been interesting.
Awesome. Well,
Patrick Swayze, God bless him, amazing actor.
The time of my life. Patrick Swayze out there holding the Predator up, just... What is going on here?
His life was 5'7" or 5'8". He was not a tall dude. So there would have been not a lot of wide shot walking scenes, be a lot of soap boxes to stand on. And
now that would have been funny, just to make it part of the movie. Like every time him and Arnold Schwarzenegger had to fight, he has to run off screen, come back on with an egg crate and stand on top of it. Ah! This is why they don't write movies.
However, they didn't do that. What they did do was put together the cream of the crop of the late 80s, early 90s character actors.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It is a cast that is so impressive. And, let me just throw the names off. Of course, Murtaugh, Danny Glover himself is in this, literally playing a Murtaugh character, but we'll get into him. Gary Busey, before he went 110% nuts.
He's here at a solid 85% nuts at this point.
I would say, guys, watch the special features of this when they interview him, and it's there. The nutty, wacky part of him, it's there. It's just not fully blossomed yet. Ruben Blades, who was a great actor in that period, a Latino actor who was absolutely fantastic. And I didn't know, apparently a musician and all that too, was a really famous musician. So
news to me.
Maria Conchita Alonso. You saw her in a few other films in the 80s, in big blockbuster action films. She's been around. Bill Paxton.
Bill.
Just being awesome as usual. And a Bond villain was in this film.
A Bond villain? Who would that have been?
Yes. Robert Darby. Who is in for two scenes. He's in it for two scenes, playing the chief, the commissioner that Danny Glover argues with.
Oh, right.
He was the Bond villain in License to Kill.
Right, he was, wasn't he? I never even made that connection. I'll be gosh darned.
So, I mean, it is. I think that was the smart thing they did immediately, was to put together such a great ensemble cast with no major star. Like, no offense to Danny Glover, but he wasn't known as a leading man action hero at the time. He was a more dramatic actor, part of but here he kind of takes that mantle, but he's well supported by a really bunch of great actors.
Well, I really enjoyed the fact that the main reason that Danny Glover took this role is because he realized that there were not a lot, and by not a lot, I mean none, there were no sci-fi action movies with a black man as the lead character. And if you really look at it, even today, it's a very rare thing.
It is. It's a very rare thing. You would think of someone that pops into my head, and he does it, and they're not all action films. There's someone like a Michael B. Jordan, perhaps.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you could throw in your Marvel actors as well. There's obviously a couple Marvel actors, but yeah, it's the same thing.
it
Yeah,
is. It really is because it
yeah.
always boils down to the same thing. Well, is a movie led by a black man going to be a box office draw? Yeah. Have you guys seen Black Panther? Have you guys
Yeah,
seen Get
the
Out?
Oscar
Yes.
winning.
Yes.
Yeah, the Oscar winning
We
Black
will.
Panther.
Okay, quite honestly, if you have a potential audience member look at a movie poster, goes, "Well, I wanted to see the movie, but there's a black man in it. Did you really want him to see your movie anyway? Quit
They're
trying
generally not going to
quit
movies.
trying to market to those people. They don't deserve it. We should
I think,
ostracize them."
yeah, no, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I won't add any more to that. 100,000%
Mm.
agree.
Studio execs.
And he's wonderful. I
Mm.
mean, Danny Glover's performance in this
Oh
is
gosh, I love it.
wonderful.
I love, like
And
you
you
said.
know what? If he didn't work, the movie doesn't work,
No,
because we watch a cop who is so connected to his community. He cares about what he does in the neighborhood he's in, trying to fix it and putting himself last as a character. He doesn't care whether he dies in this film. He makes choices that are more about for the overall good than his own personal safety.
I also just absolutely adore the fact that he comments on things whenever he is upset or whenever he's scared. He just has almost like a director's commentary, just going, "Oh, birds, I hate birds. It's like falling off a log, a 30-story log." That to me just makes him, and he's not doing it for laughs. He's not doing it for, being ironic or one-liners. It's just I don't know. To me, it's very relatable. It's like an inner monologue we have.
Well, he's the everyman.
Yes.
He's just playing the everyman cop, and he is, good. He's all those stereotypical things you want out of a leading action star. I mean, he's always best intentions at heart. He's a good guy. He's got a strong moral center. No, he's amazing. Um, this film directed by Stephen Hopkins. Now, Stephen Hopkins is a director that we know, Jason, because
Yes.
how he got this gig was off the back of Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Yes. Which was,
Joel Silver, which is the famous producer, saw it and invited Stephen Hopkins to do this.
yeah. Which
What an upgrade! No
I
offense,
know. No,
but what an upgrade!
I will friggin' say it. Nightmare on Elm Street 5 was dog doo doo. So I don't know what studio exec saw it and said, "This is quality work. Let's give them some more budget in a franchise."
I think it was visually different though. 5.
It was. I got it, and I got to stop being grumpy. The direction of 5 was good, and
It's
I
just
will also say the direction in Predator 2 is darn good.
It is darn good, and it starts straight away. That
Mhm.
opening set
Oh
piece
yes.
is freaking awesome. It holds up. It's bombastic. It's it's like cutting right into the middle of the scene. Like it's ridiculous in the idea of it, but it's still believable. But obviously this film works, and we'll get back into that opening scene. But I also want to mention Alan Silvestri's back.
Yes, you can tell, and I was very happy because I couldn't remember if he scored this movie or not. But as soon as I heard that, dun dun. Dun, 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 dun,
I
yeah.
actually watched the credits just to make sure it was, because it wasn't in the beginnings, and I'm going, either someone stole a few of the things, or this is Alan Silvestri, and thank God it was. But yes, back to that opening scene. You know why this film works really great too? Is there's this little quick misdirect as it opens, because it starts off in a jungle, and then we pan up and we get to see the city, which I like. It's a nice little nod. But Stephen Hopkins does a great thing. Not only is that opening scene really exciting and dramatic and all that, we feel the temperature throughout this movie. It's freaking hot. It is 109 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It is like everyone is so sweaty in this movie.
Yeah,
there's one bit in
amazing.
A cop shop where
It's amazing the Predator can see anybody with all the sweat that's just pouring off of him.
Do you remember that one scene with in the cop shop where we get to Bill Paxton? He's wearing a suit, and there's this giant puddle.
Yep. Could you imagine
Like,
being
okay.
you imagine being the costumers like, "No, Bill, we have to do this. We're doing this to everybody."
But yeah, wow. Yeah, yeah, crazy. What was it? Was that a Mexican cartel in the beginning, I believe,
A
or
Mexican
Colombian
cartel versus the Jamaican cartel, and it turned
yeah,
into a big Uzi fight.
easy
And oh
fight with
yeah,
the
we should
cops.
also mention that this movie does take place in the far off future year of 1997, because that was the future when this movie came out. What was it, 1990?
Yep,
Yep,
1990. So,
yep. So
and
it
you
was.
remember around that time, over there, over in America, you guys were having a lot of gangs were in the news a lot, gang
Yeah,
violence.
yeah.
And
It-
so I think this commentary, oh, you think it's bad now? It's 7 years. It's going to be apocalyptic.
yeah, it's going to be apocalyptic and it's going to be hot.
It's going to be on.
I did
So,
like though how they didn't go overboard with any kind of future technology, because to me that would have really dated this movie and made it silly. But yeah, they held back. There's no futuristic sci-fi weaponry. There's a few
but what they
screens,
do
but
is,
they don't look
yeah,
bad.
yeah, they add little, if you noticed on the handguns,
Hmm.
like, yeah, they add these little laser sight that, like a little bit, that look a little bit advanced.
Just a
And I
little
think at
bit.
one point he's in the bar looking at a TV. Remember, he's at the bar, sitting at the bar with Bill Paxton. He's watching footage, surveillance footage that Bill Paxton had captured of the of Gary Busey
Oh, right, right,
and the
right.
team, and he's just sitting at the bar like that. Then that would have been perceived. That's crazy technology. He's like, for us, it's like, yeah, he's watching it on an iPad, and an
Yeah,
old iPad by the looks of
very old.
it.
They look like the
So
pads from
yeah,
Star Trek: The Next Generation, which were also supposed to be futuristic, but now they're just kind of silly looking.
they are kind of, aren't
Yeah,
they? A little bit.
yeah.
It's just like, wow, like because all our iPads are. Yeah, anyway, who cares about tech like that? Who cares? Move on. Yeah, look, that opening scene, I keep going on about it because it sets the tone for this entire movie. We know exactly what the type of film we're at, and that is a violent action,
Violent.
violent. Yeah, it
Violent.
is. And this is a hard R movie, dude.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it was almost NC-17. They had to recut a whole lot of it.
yeah, yeah.
Apparently it wasn't the violence, it was the nudity was what people was what the
Oh yeah,
MPAA
that
had a
scene.
problem with because of
Yeah,
that one scene, which is
yeah,
strange because the way they recut the scene, you still see everything.
yeah,
You still
yeah.
see all the cash and prizes. It's just kind of
Exactly.
strange.
And for a while too, because it's a long shot.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. But it does really set the tone, and you know, the, I love that moment where it's one of the head in the cartel, and they've gone up and they're re-armoring. They re-weaponized. They're getting ready to fight the cops again. And yeah, I do not believe in drug use at that level. I think you should say no drugs, kids. Say no to drugs. Hilarious. He just grabs his thing. And he's the guy with the Uzis again who gets it in the when he
Hmm.
sees the Predator. I love that. That was just great. It's just oh, this is 80s R-rated action.
Yeah, it's
I
just
love it.
incredible, an incredible movie, and it's clever in many ways as well. Because, as I said, it opens up the universe of Predator. It does not feel like it's retreading anything. I think that's the best part, is that it is not repeating the beats of the last movie. It goes and it does something different and interesting. And at one point, they are hunting the Predator, and I'm just like, what an interesting turnaround. The
Foolish,
Yeah,
but yeah,
foolish
what
but
a great
interesting.
yeah.
He gets to show off all this brand new weaponry, and
Mm.
there is one shot in particular whenever he's got Gary Busey like pinned against the wall and he's getting ready to kill him, and Donald Glover comes in, and the Predator just kind of turns around and looks, but the parrot gun is still pointing at Gary Busey, and the
Yeah.
Predator just jumps and the gun shoots Busey anyway. He
Yeah.
didn't
That's
even.
cool.
I love that because it tells you so much about the culture. It's like, this man is not worth respecting. I'm not even going to look at him dying. This guy, however,
Mm.
this is some worthy prey down here. This
And
also,
they established that really early on that Predator and the law building is not just in the obvious stuff at the end of it.
yeah,
It's right from the beginning because
absolutely.
he's choosing his prey. He needs a challenge,
Yeah.
you know?
The scene with the little boy in the cemetery, for example, I dug that. I just thought that was really cool. It was kind of scary, but at the
Yeah.
same time, the predator is just kind of like studying this little boy.
He's got
And
a good moral center, in the sense of when he also picks up the female cop Maria, he sees that she's pregnant and doesn't kill her.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Paxton, though,
I
so like
like that.
that's skull and spine straight out. That
Yeah,
was hardcore.
yeah.
There was another bit, and um, it is whenever he's in the cemetery, and because I always thought it was strange that he leaves the necklace in the tree, because why would the predator waste time doing that? And then I realized, it's a sign of respect. It's like, I recognize that you are mourning this person. He was great prey. Have the necklace back. Have this memento, because the predators are all about taking souvenirs.
As we see at the end of the film, where each predator has its own collection of things.
Yes.
So, can I go back to Gary Busey though? Because you
Oh,
talked
we
about that
can't
moment where
get
he got
away
shot.
from Gary Busey.
He's
Absolutely.
fantastic in
Yes,
this movie.
he is.
But
Yes, he is.
I do want to point out that something that's bothered me for years, and I think you know what I'm talking about: the death of Gary Busey. And it's a great scene because we get to see the predator with his frisbee.
Yep. The round killing thingy. Yes.
And he goes through and he starts, when he throws it, he starts cutting through all that beef, all the carcasses.
Yep. Yep.
And then we get the scene where it's cut Gary Busey in half.
Yeah.
Right?
I know what you're going to say.
The legs fall down, the blood comes down, no body falls.
I think something with the practical effect went wrong and they couldn't redo it. And so they're just like, no one will notice. It's not like these two old men are going to have a podcast in 30 years and talk about how weird this effect is.
It's not like it's on screen for 18 frames. It's on screen for seconds. Like, they purposely left in the beat where anyone could go, where's the body? You know what I mean?
I saw this movie in theaters, and I remember that scene, and I remember thinking, where's the top half? Is it like, did he like reach up and grab a bar or something, and he's just hanging there like a piece of beef now, going, oh no.
And budgetary issues, must be budgetary.
Those were my favorite shoes. I'll never dance again.
The thing is, it still works. It's not it's bad distracting. It's kind of a fun distracting thing.
It's a futuristic alien weapon that we just don't understand. That's all. We just don't understand it. It's not meant for us to understand. It just is.
This movie does have very different sections to it, doesn't it? Like, there's a chunk of this movie where it's like a cop. Yeah, it's a cop drama. It's a mystery. They're trying drama. It's cop drama.
Cop drama.
Yeah, police cops.
Police cop drama rock.
But yeah, it's that. And then it takes that deviation. And I think why the film works so well too is because it's not just about gangs. You're not only dealing with the gang violence and dealing with the evil Jamaicans, and we'll get into the racism around that.
Oh, yeah.
Not great. It's not great. But bringing the element of the secret government agency who's aware of everything and adding that extra dynamic into the film did so much for it. So I loved it. And hey, why am I forgetting Adam Baldwin in this film as well?
I try to forget Adam Baldwin as much as I can.
He's in it though.
He is, and he's a young pup too.
I was gonna say,
look at little baby Baldwin. I just want to pinch his little fat cheeks and just go.
That wasn't too
You're
long.
You're going to become such a bad person in the future.
Full Metal Jacket, which was his first, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was only like 3 years before this.
Yeah, 3 years prior. Absolutely. Yep. However, I love the whole government agency idea. The fact that, of course, they picked up on stuff that happened. Down in, South America, and to kind of use that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking. Yeah, go on.
I like how because I don't know, for some reason or another, I had it in my head that the predators come once every 10 years. But then I don't know. I guess I was paying extra attention to the dialogue this time, and they're like, "Yeah, they've been here many, many times, all over the world. They're coming here to hunt all the time." And again, it makes everything bigger because I really wish this movie had been successful. Could you imagine the Predator sequels we might have gotten already?
Well,
I
the
mean,
big shocker, not to spoil the next Predator movie, but we wait 20 years
yep.
almost for the following sequel. If you don't count Aliens versus Predator, which most of us don't really want to count them.
I don't mind the
But
first one.
yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. But yeah, it's such a it's accidentally created a really fantastic franchise structure, because you don't need, like the Alien movies. We love them Alien movies, but a good chunk of them is really about Ripley. It's
Yeah.
Ripley's story.
Yeah.
We don't have a main character now, so each time we get to go to this universe, it can be a brand new protagonist in a brand new environment in any time in history.
We could have had that samurai movie by now.
We'll get that.
Oh,
I believe.
I want it
if the
so
sequel
bad.
to Prey which is being made right now, is like as good as Prey was, we'll definitely get that, because I think everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Feudal Japan, absolutely perfect. So
my cat is here.
yes, we notice big Predator fan apparently.
Yes, she loves Predator. She loves it when Gary Busey gets cut in half, because she knows where the top half went.
Oh, but we won't talk about death. There is some violent deaths in this. To the first kill of when they first walk in and see the first guy with his open cavity.
Yeah, he just kind of explodes a little bit.
Yeah, like you can see the ribs sticking up and there's a big hole there.
Yeah.
Which was great. But really, it's the skinning scene which is really the shocking scene, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Which, again, it happened in the first movie, but this one is just kind of like, whoa, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you had one last time. We're going to give you 6 this time. And we're going to hold on camera so you can see the fact that it's just
absolutely. And these are anatomically correct too. Take a closer look.
That whole scene with the Jamaicans, and I want to address what my biggest problem with the Jamaicans is, besides the really kind of performances. I don't know. I don't think any of them were actually Jamaican. It's this Jamaican gang are into voodoo, which actually has nothing to do with Jamaica. It's more Haitian thing. So, and I was like, even then they would have known that. So that's really offensive, I think, to the Jamaican culture that they did that. And then there's the performances, Jason. Some of them are kind of some of those line readings, are really bad, including King Willie.
Yeah.
King Willie's performance was very cringy to watch.
King Willie has my favorite death scene, though.
It's a pretty good death
scene. It is the good death scene whenever they're getting ready to fight, and it just cuts to Willie screaming, and he's got that, and then it's like his head is being carried away, and I'm just like, oh, dang! That must have been a short fight.
There was a bit of CG work just before that moment, too. When Predator's walking through the puddles, and we see the water hitting the legs. We see the water hitting. That was all CG. So that was
really?
very early. Yeah, early CGI.
Huh. I did not know
kind
that.
Of cool effect. Yeah. No, it's very cool. But yeah, they don't hold back. You mentioned earlier they're pulling the skull and spine out of the guy in the subway. Is that what you?
Yeah, poor Bill Paxton's skull and spine.
Yeah.
Ripped out of his body, and his body's just thrown into the gutter like trash. That was so disrespectful.
So Battle Cat's watching me and watching us on here. That's pretty rad. But yeah, look, the violence is kind of over the top, but it so suits this. You want to see the Predator rip people apart. You want to see that. You want the threat of it. And the other smart thing is the fact that this isn't the same Predator as well. Well, it can't be, clearly.
No. That other guy got blowed up.
It's such a great response.
This is his cousin Ed.
It's such a great, it's just it's just a different Predator. It's just a different Predator.
Different
but
Predator.
Played by the same legendary
performer
of Kevin Hall.
Yes.
Kevin Peter Hall.
Kevin Peter Hall, yes. The great man, yes. 7'2".
I forgot his middle name there for a second.
with his feet on the ground and his head in the sky. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. Kevin Peter Hall.
Yeah, but highlights for you, Jay. Some of the scenes that stand out for you.
Well, I've already said that the King Willie death, I think, is definitely great. I think the entire scene on the subway was really good. And I did not know until today, as a matter of fact, whenever I was looking through notes and trivia on this movie, is that that scene had actually already appeared in a comic book before this movie. And the creators of this movie loved that comic book so much that they recreated it for this movie. And
I do draw from that comic book a couple of times in this film.
they really
They
do.
do.
Let's see, what else was there? I think that Danny Glover has one of the best one-liners in history, and it's one of those "I'm dead and I know it" one-liners. Whenever he's on the Predator ship and he's dispatched the Predator, and he gets up and that laser light hits him, and 9 other Predators decloak. Which one? Why are they all cloaked on their own ship?
I don't know.
I don't know. But he he just kind of gets up.
Effect.
He gets up and he's tired. He's had enough. He's too old for this stuff. And he just goes, "Okay, who's next?"
Yeah, it's
it's just
and great delivery.
It's a great line because he's tired. And quite honestly, I think 80% of people in that situation would probably say the same thing. Okay, who's next? Let's get this over with.
That scene was one of the most expensive scenes because
it was, yes,
because all the suits alone, by the time you had all those Predators, like let's say 900,000 or almost $1 million worth of suits.
Wow.
Yeah, and filled with some. They had to get people to fill the suits, right? And Kevin Peter Hall played the older, like the main kind of Predator as well. NBA players. Basketball players, because they were athletic enough and tall enough to be able to fit in the suits.
Oh sure, I could see that.
So, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and talk about law building. If we're talking about that scene, the fact that this is where they established that they kind of are a community and they're a group of hunters, and they follow rules, and they have their own coda. The fact that the Predator got killed. You've earned that kill. Yep. And here, take it. We get to see the gun.
Yep.
Which ties into Prey.
We'll see that gun again, I know. And okay, quite honestly, I know we're kind of jumping ahead here, but whenever that gun showed up in Prey, the little boy in me was going, oh. Because I have always wondered. I always wondered the backstory about where that gun came from, and I thought it was going to be like a cowboy and Indians thing, or I don't know, like a Revolutionary War thing. And
I thought of muskets. And
I loved that reveal so much. For one thing, Predator 2 got some love because it seems like this movie never gets any love.
Which is weird because the franchise has benefited so much from this film.
It has.
For what this film set up and what it established and what it kind of built out, I don't think the franchise kind of exists in its current state without that, you know? So it's an odd thing, and it is aged really well, though. This film, you know, it's an early 90s film, but I just think it still works. It doesn't feel like it's the flaws, whatever flaws there are flaws. Really don't become bigger over time or anything. In fact, I just think you look at this film going, this is well directed, well made, great cast, you know, and a film that only cost them $20 to $30 million to produce.
Which is budget, quite honestly.
Well, it'd be about an $80 million budget now, which isn't huge. So, and I think that was great as well. It was financially successful, by the way. It did end up making domestically over there $57 million. So it was profitable.
Just wasn't
probably not the big numbers.
Yeah. You know,
So,
going back to what this movie did for Predator, I like to think that the Predator movies, and keep in mind, I have not seen Predators or Predator. Or The Predator. I have not seen those movies. But these movies strike me as a genre movie. that all of a sudden a Predator crashes. Because we had a war movie as the first film. Predator crashes it. Here we have a gritty cop drama that the Predator crashes. There is so much. We could have a gangster movie set in the 1930s. Predator crashes it. We have...
and you find, without saying anything, you will find that motif continues in the next couple of films, at least.
Well, it continues in Prey, because Prey was basically... it was basically cowboy and Indians, even though there weren't any cowboys. They were the French. Yeah. But yeah, basically the same thing. It was a genre movie, and it gets crashed by a Predator. I want to see the Predator crash.
To me, it was like, let's throw Predator into the Revenant. Get rid of Leo, and let's throw the Predator into Revenant, and we've got ourselves Prey. And
I want to see a Predator interrupt a musical. Predator the musical.
Yeah. 100%, because we know that works for the Joker.
Or a romantic comedy. I haven't seen the Joker yet, but I want to.
I haven't either. I'm just riding the wave of online hate. I'm awful. I'm petty.
I'm not going to be able to watch the Joker for over a week because of things I got going on, but oh my gosh.
I know everything about it. I've been spoiled, so I know everything about the film.
I want to see it so bad because I've heard it's just awful.
Yeah, well, what I found out was absolutely awful. But it does, because, I think we're similar, Jason. We do have a gluttons for punishment. We're not adverse to watching crap, because we can get our own enjoyment out of crap occasionally.
I love crap. I love it.
But this film is not. This film is a great film. Yes. It's a film that... there's a couple of moments I think it lags just a little bit in the second act, just a little bit. But besides that, it's a film, once you're locked in, it moves at a really good pace.
Yes.
Just great set pieces. Fantastic set pieces. And that money, I said it was only $20-30 million, is on screen.
It is, and it's spent well. It's spent very efficiently. I know that they said that they really didn't have a whole lot of sets for this movie, that they actually went out on location in Los Angeles to film it. Originally, the movie was written to be in New York City, because the scene of the Predator holding up Bill Paxton's skull and getting hit by lightning was supposed to be on top of the Chrysler Building, but they were like, no, if we shoot it there, it's going to be astronomically expensive. Let's just shoot it here in Los Angeles.
It works better because it's also more believable. Oh, I suppose New York gets super hot as well. But
it does.
I don't know. I just think the landscape of it being 109 degrees in Los Angeles, those orange kind of colors that they tend to use when they shoot Los Angeles in the 80s, everything had to have orange hue.
Oh, yeah.
It works really well.
It's kind of like whenever anything takes place in Mexico these days, it's got that weird orangish yellow hue. Like the second you walk across the border, somebody messes with the color controls.
Yeah. So, but it's I don't know what more to say except this is a freaking great movie.
It's
a freaking great movie. I love it.
It is.
I love it.
Every bit as good as the original, in my opinion. Every bit as good. I wasn't going
to say that.
I'm going to say it. It's every bit as good as the original, because it is not a retread of the original. It's its own animal. It's just got it's just got the same bad guy, and it's just got a whole different energy. Both of them are fantastic films.
They are. I don't know. I still believe the Predator, just because of the execution of that film, to me, it's just slightly better than this one, but it's close. It's very, very, very close.
I'm going to say each one of them are just great. Yeah. They're great. They're equally great.
And it's it was a film I watched it the day before. I had seen this film probably in 20 years. I remember buying the DVD when it was released, because it was a big deal when that DVD came out. Because it's packed with special features. Those were the days. But yeah, I hadn't watched it in 20 years. So, I'd seen Predator heaps of times, but I had gone back, and I was so like, why am I not watching this on repeat as well?
Oh, how did we not talk about the tagline? He's in town for a few days. He's in town for a few days to kill.
That's pretty great. Marketing department, you get
that. That's wonderful. It's such a cringe pun, but at the same time, absolutely appropriate.
The visuals throughout this film, including the marketing, including what was in the film, with that moment you just spoke about, the holding up the staff and it is one of the highlights of the films too. They really make great wallpapers. Like this film, there's a lot of wallpapers you can get out of this film. You know what I mean? Screen grabs that look iconic that you could, get commissioned to be painted or print out and put on your wall.
Absolutely. You know, we I know back in that time people were clamoring for an alien comes to Earth type of movie, and we kind of had it with this film because the first movie was in an isolated location. This was right in the middle of civilization. And it is a shame that this was not embraced more than it was.
Well, it is such a. I think it was at the time though, Jason. It was like stars were the name of the game, weren't they?
They were,
and I reckon it really suffered from the time of work. If it doesn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's not going to be as good. Like the time when his name goes above the title. Today we don't think like that.
No,
it's not about stars.
No, there's been too many Terminator Dark Fates to think that way anymore.
Exactly. And I think that was probably one of the reasons but it's a perfect antidote to Predator because it's like, well, the first one's in the jungle. You would think, oh, well, we're going to set the second one in the jungle just to go completely opposite.
We're going to LA. Buckle up. Buckle up and get ready for some full frontal fun.
Yeah. And the Predator, you could do so much more with the Predator in the city. Visually too.
Yeah,
because in the jungle you just really got trees, haven't you? You're really just dealing with bushes and trees. Here you can have him jumping across buildings. The moment when he jumps across the cars is really cool as well. And he jumps up on that tree and all that. That was a good effect, actually. I don't know how they did that. It was all good timing. But
I don't know. And of course, a higher body count.
Oh yeah, of course.
Much higher body count. Well, the deaths didn't hit quite as hard, but it's still a high body count.
Yeah. And it's the one thing I will say about the film is like it bothers me, but I loved it at the same time. Now I'm thinking of it, is the Predator was always happened to be at the place where they would turn up. Do you not notice that in the film?
What do you mean?
Every time, well, you would have, Danny Glover would move from one scene and then he goes to a location and the Predator's there already.
He's stalking him. The Predator's
but like in a car. I mean, the Predator, is he doing 80 mile an hour?
Yes. Yes, he is. Okay. The guy's got a car in Los Angeles.
That's I didn't factor in the traffic.
The Predator, he gets on the subway. He's invisible. He doesn't have to pay.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there. Every once in a while, an old lady sits in his lap and just kind of, oh, my goodness. My Alzheimer's. But yeah, I mean,
going back to that
scene, I just scared the cat off my desk. Sorry. That's why everything just
that
shook.
Subway scene, I know we've already spoken about it, but what's interesting about that to me too is, look, if the strobe effect, that's pretty bad in this. I will say that strobe effect. If you have got, what's it called? When
epilepsy.
Epilepsy, yes. If you go, you would not want to watch that moment. But what's interesting about it is everyone's so terrified of the Predator, right? Like, she's going to push he was never going to kill any of them.
No.
He just wants the cops and the bad guys, and the robbers.
That's it.
It was very cool.
Or anybody with a gun, I guess. Whatever.
All right. Well, that is it. I think we've covered what we want to cover.
We have, yes.
All I can say is, guys, go watch it. Even if you watched it the other day, go watch it again. It's great. And if you haven't seen it in a while, like, we're not steering you wrong here. We're not wasting your time. It's an excellent sequel.
Trust us.
This is a sequel. You can start to throw in that argument now. A movie I've never done. I've never actually, when someone said talk about the great sequels, I've never mentioned Predator 2. But after watching this, I think I could add that to the discussion.
Absolutely. Now. Please do. It's a great sequel. This and Prey, they're all, I consider them the Predator trilogy because I haven't seen the other two, but I've heard things. Yeah. All of them distinctly different, all of them their own genre, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it's great value. We're doing another sequel next time, Jason.
We are another great sequel. And I have to admit, you told me that you hated this movie. I
walked out angry out of the cinema.
I
when I saw
kind
this
of
movie.
like this movie, although I do admit it is very bad. But there's something about this movie that I appreciate. And so I decided to inflict this on you.
It's payback
It
for
it
Mac and
is
me.
payback. This is of course the Tour de Force legacy sequel that everyone knows and everyone remembers. It's an American Werewolf in Paris.
Yes, American Werewolf in Paris. A film that I said I have not seen probably. When did this come out? Mid-90s? Was it mid-90s?
97, something like that. I don't know,
That's
something
the
like
last
that.
time I saw it.
Yeah.
Completely. I was so emotionally attached to American Werewolf in London. Like
Me too.
emotionally
Me
attached
too.
to it. That I think, jarred by what the plot was and what the film was. And it was supposed to be a comedy and I didn't find it funny at the time. But it deserves a rewatch. And I'm glad you've thrown this challenge down our
No,
way.
you're not.
So,
Don't lie. You're not glad at
I'm
all.
glad now, but I'm happy to come back on the show when we watch it going, you son of a gun.
And
But,
I'll deserve
you
it, yeah. I will completely deserve it.
But yeah, that's what we'll be doing next. And then we come back after that episode with a Predator film you've never seen. And I'm really excited about that.
Yep.
This one I'm really excited for you to watch.
And this is
called Predators.
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 They're doing the alien thing. Alien,
Yeah, Predators.
aliens, predator, predators.
Mm.
Sounds like steam escaping.
And when you talk ensemble cast, that's got a fantastic ensemble cast as well.
Well, I know
but we'll talk about
that Adrian Brody's in it. That's the only one that I know.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. You got Topher Grace in it. You got Danny Trejo.
Really?
Yeah,
Topher's in it. Eric Foreman's in this one.
Topher's in it. But wait, you will see the film and then we can talk about.
Okay,
Topher.
all right. I'm sorry.
But they're great ensemble actors.
I suddenly want to see it more that I know that Topher Grace is in it.
Yeah, the guy from the 80s show.
The first Venom, the bad Venom, is in this movie.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah, I love that. You mean the first Venom, the bad one? I don't know the difference.
Yeah, I got no idea. Did you see Let There Be Carnage?
Okay, quite honestly, okay, the Venom movies are not that great, but Tom Hardy is a great Venom.
Oh, look, I'm going to be there opening weekend for The Last Dance.
I will too, and I hope it's good because I think Tom Hardy deserves a good Venom movie.
Yeah, so do I. But they are B-grade superhero films, without question.
They are.
Anyway, we're not here talking about Venom. I mean, he's one kind of alien creature, but okay, let's have who wins? Predator versus Venom.
Venom infects the Predator and then kills us all.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
you imagine that? A Venom Predator. I bet you there's a comic book about it somewhere. But
There's
if they haven't done
it. There's gotta be.
That would be a cool look.
I have Predator versus JLA, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
Like all the Predators like steal the Justice League's powers, and like their costumes are like vaguely similar like to Superman's or Wonder Woman's, and you're just looking at it going, really? One of them has Plastic Man's powers.
Oh no.
Oh yes. And then of course you've got the regular Predator, and it's like, who's that supposed to be? Oh, that's Batman. He has no powers. Shut up, Superman.
Oh, right, okay.
Remember, thou art mortal. Remember, thou art mortal. I wonder if I still have
All right,
that.
Jace.
It's so bad.
We will end it here, but before we go, we should let people know how they can support us here, the VHS Vault and the Jason Roy Gaston channel in general. And how do they do that, Jason?
Absolutely, my friends. Please visit the video description below to find out how you can become a patron through our Patreon. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. And if that's not enough for you, you can become a channel member by visiting this channel's main page. Please give a lot and give often, and let us have a little financial support. Thank you.
That's pretty damn impressive, actually.
I agree.
Let's go.
That should get us a patron right there. I'm just saying.